Okay.
you have a privilege
Yeah.
to be married to a poker player. How it is? What's
Dude,
the
yeah.
worst thing and worst thing and the best thing about being married to a poker player?
Uh, I don't know if there's a worse thing, you know. Okay, maybe the only bad thing, and this is just a mental game league, is that sometimes if I'm playing badly, which obviously we all do, me included, sometimes if I'm playing badly, like sometimes she'll say, like, you made some strange plays there. So she's like watching and she's like, I'm not sure what you were doing there, and are you sure about that? And I'm like, yeah, because you know he was doing this, and she is like making faces at me. So maybe the worst thing is sometimes she actually like kind of coaches me in some spots afterwards, um, which can be quite humiliating. And for years, she was just much better against fish than me. So her and Cogdis, like Cogdis is like quite a close personal friend now. I've been and stayed with Cog like on two different occasions. I've spent like a month in his house in Bali, and her and Cogdis were always really close. She actually found him as my coach. That was another a birthday gift. She bought me 4 sessions of coaching with Cogdis,
Oh, nice.
um, which was like a great birthday gift. She hunted him out. She found him. They established a relationship, and then later on, he actually started coaching her and staking her too. They were really good against recreationals, really good, and I was not. I was really bad against recreationals. At that point, I had done so much study on reg game that like my fish game was so similar to my red game, like really similar. And so she for a good year and a half, 2 years, she would just like school me on fish play, and I guess that was kind of embarrassing. But she made me a better poker player, man. She coached me on fish. I used to watch her play sometimes. I'd be like, "Why are you doing that? That's such a weird thing to do." But it turns out, you know, she was getting inside the mind of the fish. So the worst thing, just occasionally, she embarrasses me by schooling me in a particular spot or something like that. In terms of the best thing, just everything else, man. She's so supportive. She made my career happen. If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be a professional poker player. No chance. She was the one. She bought me my like the first book, Harrington on Hold'em. She bought me my first coaching sessions with Cogtes, and then when I was really unhappy at my job, and doing well at poker, she's the one. She basically like forced me to quit my job. She's like, you have to quit, and she gave me a deadline. She was like, you have to do it. You have to do it. I never would have done that. I never would have taken the leap if it wasn't for her. So the best thing is like, yeah, she's super supportive. Some girlfriends and wives are like, oh, you playing poker again, or you need to take me out to lunch or something like that. She's like, dude, you need to fucking grind. Or if we're sitting together and I'm on the solvers, she's like, yeah, cool, like no problem. So she never, ever, ever, not once, not on one single occasion, has discouraged me from playing or coaching or studying, um, which is huge
That is huge.
because which for like a lot of people, their girlfriend and wife's like, oh, not again, and then you're forced to like you have to give up, you have to sacrifice things. The truth is, if you want to be like at the top of the game, you need to dedicate your life to it. Um, and she has allowed me to do that.
Yeah.
She takes over a lot of like the responsibilities, things that shopping, sometimes like cooking, looking after the kids, the cats, this kind of stuff. She does that because she's like, no, you need to play or you need to coach. Yeah, so that's like she's like a one in a million in that sense. She's responsible for my career. That's the best thing, I
That
would say.
that's a really
Yeah,
good thing. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I got lucky there, real lucky.
Yeah, thanks to Ducky. I don't know her,
Yeah,
but I heard heard
yeah, she
something.
she's a great human. She's like a part 651. She's involved in the chats. Like she's good friends with everybody. She talks to a lot of the guys. Her and Jonas send dog and cat emojis to each other all the time.
Let's talk
Yeah, so
about that other time with Jonas in private.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, see you, Vampirian, floppy head, sexy German. Yeah,
Next question is about 651.
yeah,
Uh,
sure.
what's your 651 story? Obviously, you joined as a player, and now
Yep,
you're part of the 651 uh,
staff,
stuff.
the administration. Yeah, like a Mike Pence type character. Yeah, I quit my job in 2015. uh, February 2015. I finished. First professional poker player. My first day as a pro was March the 1st, 2015. I was on my own, like my own role, and I'd run up from zero playing like micro stakes. I wanted to save up to go to the World Cup in Brazil in 2014.
Okay.
So I started saving up, and I made $1,000. I was like, holy shit! And it became 2,000 and 3,000. I was just steady grinding it up. I couldn't believe it, playing like $15 games, um, and then started playing spins. I ran it all the way to 12K, and instead of going to Brazil, I decided, okay, instead I'll be a professional poker player, which seemed a lot more exciting to me. Had a 12K roll. My first 20 days of being a professional poker player, I think, I lost every single day. And
I think
my
it was 25. I read about it.
20, 25, something, it was ridiculous. Just started as a pro poker player, let's do this. And it just went like that. I lost my entire 12K roll in like 25 days, playing $60 spins. I had like 1K left, and I withdrew it, took my wife to Vegas for her 30th birthday, came back, and I was a professional poker player with no bankroll. So I was like, okay, I should do something about this. So I looked at a few different stables, wrote out a really long application for Smart Spin, made a couple of applications to other stables, got a couple of offers, and then Coffier said, "Oh, there's this really small team called 651." I've never heard of him. He said, oh, it's Jack Stack's stable. And I was like, oh, God. And I knew Jack Stack was like a high stakes heads up rec. And I'd followed his career. I was like a fanboy. And I was just so excited about the chance of working with Jack Stack. And I was like, oh, will I get to work with him? He was like, I don't know, maybe. Like, you know, sort of thing. Probably. So I was like, fuck it. Yeah. So I applied 651. They offered me quite a low deal. Jason offered me quite a low deal. And I bargained for like five more percent. He was like, okay. So I was like, okay, cool. So I joined. There was like, I think there must have been about 10 people, a couple playing MTTs and a couple playing spins. I was the highest stake spin player there. And I started responding in the chats. Like, so Jack put me in the chats. There was no coaching sessions. Like 651 was a fairly informal organization. And then people were posting questions about hands, and I'd start answering them like in detail, like, okay, this is what I think you should do, and X, Y, Z. And Jack was reading these, but I didn't know. And then a few months, like 9 months after I joined, Jack Jack had asked me to do coaching. I set up like a G Drive so that we could share coaching videos so that everybody could watch them. And after a few months, Jack just like, asked me to get on call with him. He was like, oh, can you give me a ring tonight? And I was like, oh fuck, what did I do? I was so scared. I never told Jack this actually, but me and my wife used to call him the Godfather. Like you would never speak to Jack back in those days. Jack was so busy, like you rarely spoke to him. So when Jack spoke to me, I used to get quite nervous, like, oh fuck. And he rang me, and I was super scared. And he said, look, man, I like the way that you answer everybody's questions. I really like your coaching. Like I think you're a good player. I think you have like a lot of like masses of potential. He's like, so. The business is not doing so well, and I'd like you to join the staff and see if you can help us turn it around, because I think that you could be like an asset, so to speak. So that's how it started. He brought me on board. We still have like 10 players, and that's when we started like networking to a few other players. We started to gain a bit of reputation. The ball started rolling. 10 became 20, became 30, and just over time, like we always had this. This is gonna sound so. It's gonna sound like a marketing here or something, but like we pretty much had an agreement that what we weren't gonna do is it was never gonna be just like pure profit. We didn't want it to be a cash cow where we signed up loads of players, made loads of money off of them, and didn't really care about them or their well-being or anything like that. So we kind of agreed like we're gonna give good cuts to people. We're going to give people a lot of attention. We're going to pay attention to people's like well-being, like their mental health and how they feel and stuff like that. And the one thing we always said, we're always going to focus on quality. So we never planned to get that much bigger. We just said we're going to have good players and we're going to train them up. Like we're going to offer quality products. We're going to be like the, you know, I think the like the way that we used to talk about it was like a luxury car. Sounds so ridiculous now.
Mm-hmm.
But we wanted to be like a luxury stable where people got the absolute best product that they could possibly get. And I think that we were probably one of, if not the smallest spin stable, and now like we're one of the biggest. And I think it's because like when players join 651, very few players in my time at 651 have actually ended up leaving because of the environment that we've built here, because of the quality, I think, of the product that we've built. That's why 651 is where it is now. It's just we always focused on making it a good experience for people. So when people came, they generally didn't end up leaving very often. There's obviously a few people leave. You can't stop that, and people want to try something different. But obviously we've got like a huge community here, and I've got to say like a huge community of amazing poker players at this point. Like it's just created, some of the players on our roster are just incredible. You know, no disrespect to how we were back when I joined. It wasn't quite the case. Like it was a few like low stakes guys kind of kicking around. So yeah, that's how it started with 651. I never ever imagined that it would get to this point now.
I had a question about what keeps you so busy, but you answered me before the interview started that you're just moving places now.
I feel like I'm making excuses because people are like, Wubblepig's such a lazy Skype man. What keeps me so busy? Okay, first and foremost, like I am a stepdad. I have 2 kids. I don't mention them a lot, but you know, there is a lot involved in parenting.
Sure.
Especially like the last couple of years. So one's 15 and one's 12. And when kids start to become teenagers, there's just a lot more work. You know, the schoolwork gets harder. You have to help them with it, but they also they start encountering like real life issues, like you know, boyfriend problems and stuff like that. And so parenting takes up quite a lot of time. And then obviously I try and dedicate some time to like reading books about parenting too, because I don't want to just make it up as I go along. So parenting, I have my wife who deserves some attention at least. I have 4 cats, and that takes quite a lot of time to like look after cats too. So those would be the main things that keep me so busy. But the other thing as well is that like running the team 651 is like, you know, that is quite a huge time commitment. I think we have over 100 players at this point. In fact, I know we have over 100 players at this point. And like if you look at my Skype, it's usually like 30 plus messages where it's like everybody's group chats and a few individual ones. And sometimes I'll respond to a Skype, like I'll see a question, I'll respond to it, keep going up the list, and then the person that I responded to has asked another question, and it's kind of like, you know, whack-a-mole, where you hit the mole and another one pops up. And so it kind of gets ahead of me sometimes. And I'll admit this, I will admit this, I've always been an extremely disorganized person. Like my dad is ridiculously disorganized. Since day one of my life, I've always been a very disorganized person. I lose things, I forget things, like I lose track of stuff. And that was one of the things, it's so ironic, that's one of the things that attracted me to poker, was the flexibility, where you didn't need to be particularly organized and you were just a one-man band.
Mm-hmm.
No one relied on you. I was like, brilliant, I can play poker, I get my coach in, I go out there, I'll play whenever I want and just do whatever hours I want, and that'll be fine. Didn't envisage that I was going to be part of the staff at a team, and that my disorganization would be a problem. So for everybody watching, from the bottom of my heart, I apologize if ever I've upset you or you feel like I've deliberately ignored you. I promise it's a combination of just like busyness in my personal life or in my professional life, and also just my terrible organization skills. So I do apologize. Every year I make the same resolutions, you know, at New Year's. So like, this year's the year. I must have downloaded 100 to-do list apps on my phone. You know, the ones with like you set the thing and it comes up with a reminder and stuff, and I always trail off. It's a real character flaw. But yeah, that's why.
But you get the job done. So
just about
to make a song.
Yeah.
But we will get to the song. But
Okay.
since you haven't seen interviews, there is a quote
Yes.
I pick out
Okay.
from all the players.
Yeah.
Yours is quite interesting.
Okay.
Let's see if you find out where it comes from.
Okay.
I haven't developed much of an ego despite being the best in the world at everything I have ever tried.
Yeah, where did I say that? Haven't developed much of an ego. Where did I say that? This would have been one of the newsletters, I think. Maybe.
It's in Team 651 Meet the Players.
Meet the players, yeah, okay, yeah. Obviously, that is a joke. I don't. To be fair, if you don't know me or you're not English, that might read as literal. If you're British, you'll know straight away that's not
No,
serious.
you mentioned afterwards.
Yeah,
Sarcasm.
yeah, sarcasm, exactly. British people are. I don't know if you know, British people are insanely sarcastic. Like it's like the root of humor
I
in
lived
Britain.
there for 4.5 years, so.
Yeah, of course, you know. Yeah, yeah. Where was it that you lived? You said.
Near to Liverpool, Skelmersdale.
That's right.
A shithole, you said.
No offense if anyone's from Skelmersdale.
Oh, actually, some people might watch some Skelmersdale.
Yes. Right. Apologies. It's a great place. It's great stuff. Yeah, it's like that's just a huge British thing. It's like sarcasm and talking in riddles. Obviously didn't mean that. Yeah, like I told you, the thing that I've been obsessed with the most in my life is football, and I wasn't even the best in my group of friends. Like I was like middle of the pack, and I was completely obsessed with it. I certainly was not the best at everything I've ever done. I know that I'm definitely not the best at getting back to people. That's for certain. I'm not the best responder. So yeah, good quote. Good quote.
I thought that it was a needed one for this one.
Tongue in cheek, as we say in Britain. Tongue in cheek. Yeah.
Talking about British humor,
Yeah.
is Tom close to crossing a line with his
Oh, with like the
with his trolling? Yeah.
Not even slight. It's funny you say that. Jack actually messaged me one day. I've told Tom about this. Jack actually messaged me. He was like, "Dude, are you okay?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" And he was like, "Oh, Tom, I really kill you there." And I was like, "Yeah, I know. It was really funny." He was like, "Aren't you like mad about it?" And I was like, "No, not at all. Like, I find it hilarious." I Tom isn't even remotely close to crossing a line. I love him. I love like he's been such a good addition to 651. He's a great guy. Like I like him professionally because he is just like the model professional. He's just like so organized. He's an exceptional coach. He's just like he's obviously everybody knows Tomo's an incredible guy. But he's like a good friend as well. And him and my wife, like you I don't know if people know this. A lot of the material that Tom uses, because like obviously he has loads of pictures and stuff like that. My wife sends this to him. They have a group chat. My wife, Tom, and Joe have a group chat. And for Karamba Wubblepig, Joe was asking my wife things about me. For everything Tom does, my wife provides all the material, and then we laugh like hyenas when it comes out. I find it hilarious. And in Britain, again, I talk about Britain like it's some alien planet. It's almost certainly like this in other countries too, but just in Britain, like those things often are like a compliment in a way. So like if someone is like making a video, like, you know, taking the piss out of you, making fun of you, it's actually what it means is a compliment. So if you're in a group of guys and people are making fun of you, generally it means you're part of the group. It's like a form of social acceptance. You know, that's British guys, the way that we work, we get together and we just make fun of each other like nonstop. And actually, I've had a few problems with people from other countries before where I've treated them that way and they've been like, "Dude, do you not like me?" And I'm like, no, sorry. It means I think you're a really cool guy. Like I thought we were friends, and that's how friends treat each other from where I'm from. So to answer the question, is Tom close to crossing the line? Absolutely not. No, I find it hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it will be that way because
Yeah.
British
I don't like
humor
the picture in the dress. That one from my wedding. That one's tough. But no, I think it's really good.
Okay.
The halftime shows have been one of the best additions to 651 ever. They're so good.
Yeah, I agree.
They're
Like
so
it started with the intros for coaching videos, and now it's halftime
yeah.
shows. Yeah, I agree. It's so good. It's so good.
He's so gifted, man. He's really gifted with that.